Vish, what is your perfect offseason? Walk us through your plan. I'm curious. Can you do it?
Yeah, wow. Last Second Sports really put me on the spot. Let's
Jesse
see.
Naylor.
So I haven't worked out the money perfectly yet,
Fine.
all of that, but the guys I would like to bring back this offseason for the 49ers, for me, it's obviously Trent Williams, obviously Jason Verrett, and I would bring back Jaquiski Tart. I'd let Kyle Juszczyk walk, depending on the price, just because I think he's a piece that the Niners can do without if other people step up. Now, is
Right, he's
he?
the
Are
same
you
price
gonna?
as Jaquiski Tart, but Tart plays
Yeah,
100% of the snaps when he's not hurt,
when he's not hurt, and
and
you,
Juszczyk plays
yeah.
35.
But Juszczyk, I mean, prior to this season, Juszczyk has also missed considerable amount of time every single
True.
season when he's been on the 49ers. He's had
True.
a 3-game or 4-game injury that he's missed. So
That is
we're
true.
not talking about a fully healthy, we're not talking about 100% of the time versus Tart, who's like 70% of the time. We're
Correct.
talking 85 versus 70. And so I would go with those three. I think that Tart and Ward's versatility would help D'Amico Ryans a ton in terms of what he can call and what he can't call, because he knows he has two players in his back end that can do just about anything and everything, and their experience and smarts. So I would be set with those three. Then when it comes to the draft, look, I would just cut ties with Jimmy Garoppolo. I don't like the idea of paying him that much money. I know he's a pretty good player, but I just think you can't keep guessing on his health. And I mean, I'm not even sure. Like, there's been reports that they're not even sure if his ankle is 100% right even now, which makes me a little scared. And so I would just cut Jimmy Garoppolo, let him go sign somewhere else. If he goes wins a Super Bowl somewhere else, that's fine, because guess what? It just wasn't working in the way you wanted to work with the 49ers. I would sign somebody, whether it's an Andy Dalton, whether it's a Ryan Fitzpatrick for $5 million. And then I think you're pretty much set, I think, with a pretty solid team all around, because you have Verrett back at corner. I'd make a move to get a starting caliber corner. I've talked about Shaq Griffin, Kevin King. I know everybody hates them, especially Kevin King, because his bad moments have been so documented. But we're talking about a guy that's going to play a lot more zone defense than he played in Green Bay, and he's going to have the opportunity to play and just compete for the second corner job. I'd have Emmanuel Mosley play in the slot, so that would be my 3 starting corners. And then I'd just make a move and go get Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. I really would. I think that at that point, you're probably building the best roster you can for 2021. I'm not a big fan of the idea of I'm okay with the idea of Mac Jones. I'm lukewarm with the idea of Trey Lance, but I'm very excited about the idea of Zach Wilson or Justin Fields. I would go get one of them, and that would be what I would do in the offseason. So I think the offense would be okay. I think it would be pretty good. Because at this point, I'm not even 100% sure that outside of Deshaun Watson or Dak Prescott, the 49ers are just going to win 11 to 13 games. I'm really not sure. But if you're going to win 7 games with Justin Fields, I think that's better than winning 7 games with Jimmy Garoppolo or winning 8 games with Jimmy Garoppolo, because at least you have some prospect to look to the future with. So that's really where I'm at.
How high would you trade up? You trade up to number 2 for Zach Wilson?
No, not
Where's
if
the
I can
sweet
get
spot?
Fields.
Number 7 with Detroit? Like kind of like what Mel Kiper was saying?
4 to 7. 4 to 7 would
4 to
do it
7.
100%. Yeah, I would. I mean,
And
this
who
is
would you
all
prefer?
assuming Wilson.
Who would you prefer? Wilson or Fields?
I think I prefer Fields at the moment right
Oh,
now.
wow. Well, that works out for you because it looks like Wilson's going to go ahead
Yeah.
of Fields. The way I'm seeing it is just going to be Lawrence, Wilson number 2. I don't know if it's to the Jets, but Wilson probably number 2. I'm thinking Mac Jones probably number 4. No later than number. His stock keeps going up.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking Fields right after that, maybe all in the top 8, with Lance being the guy who drops to the Niners at 12.
Yeah, I think we're gonna have 4 top 10 quarterbacks. Like, I know I wasn't really convinced on anything I was doing when Last Second Sports put me on the spot, but I am confident. I think there's 4 quarterbacks that are gonna go in the top 10, and I think it's going to be
those 4.
Yeah, those 4. That's what I'm guessing. I don't know 100% because I obviously am just saying this as a guess, as being a fan, right? So
and Lance, I have no idea. Love fell to the mid-20s, then so could Lance. I mean, honestly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
honestly, so much can change, right? This is combine time, so there's speculation. We still got to go through the pro day speculation. Jordan Love, I mean, he went from a second round pick to a first round pick to people were mocking him to the top 10 to people were thinking 12 or 19 with the Raiders was his sweet spot to ultimately people mocking him in the 20s and then he went in the 20s. So we're gonna see a lot of movement with these guys. I think the ultimate thing is that I think Justin Fields, Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, and Trevor Lawrence will end up being top 10 picks.
Here's my problem with Zach Wilson and Justin Fields as top 10 picks. You're betting 100% on their physical gifts because they do have physical gifts. They can move, they're strong, armed, and they're accurate. But you can't see on the coach's film really them processing efficiently and quickly like you can with Mac Jones. And with both, it's like, well, do they have to? I mean, their first reads open a lot. They can scramble. It's not their fault, but you just can't see it. And it's a bit of a projection. And you're really betting on those athletic traits. And he's, to me, as athletic as Justin Fields and Zach Wilson are, they're not Josh Allen, Kyler Murray, upper echelon athletes. They're a tier below.
So, Grant, as Mel Kiper said, you got to anticipate that progression because this sounds a little bit like Kyle Shanahan in the 2017 draft. Well, I saw CJ Beathard do things that translate to my offense. I saw him be in the huddle. I saw him under center. I saw him go play action. So I don't need to project that he can do things. And there's this guy, Patrick Mahomes. Well, he's just running around in the Pac-12 and making all these ridiculous throws. I don't know if he can process. Well, turns out he can process and he can process with the best of them to go with the fact that he can make all these ridiculous athletic plays. Same thing with Deshaun Watson, which brings me to the fact that I think that no offense really, I mean, maybe besides Steve Sarkisian, because Steve Sarkisian could walk into the NFL and be better than I think almost like 85 to 90% of the offensive coordinators in the NFL. I think he's that good as a game planner and an offensive coordinator. He's really well regarded. So I think from that standpoint, and I mean, so I just wanted to say that. And I think besides that, really prepare a guy for the NFL. I think part of it is the coaches really adjusting themselves and adjusting what they do to help the college player out. So I think that I just think that projection, I understand what you're saying. I really do. But I'm
not writing them off. I just feel like it's hard. It's just hard. And I understand what you're saying as well.
Yeah.
And you'd like to be able to see it. And the CJ thing is interesting. Like, who cares if the dude's under center? He can learn that. You know, that stuff is so overrated. Like, you see, like, oh, Trey Lance, look at him. He's under center. He's executing a concept. Like, whatever. He can learn that. What I'm talking about is mental quick twitch. I think that's a trait. I think it's a physical. That's all I'm saying.
Fair. Yeah, absolutely fair. And you know, just the Trey Lance point, it's funny because there was a mock draft yesterday that I was tweeting about because I was a little bored at night and I saw it, and people said that yeah, I did say it because Chris Sims said 4 top 10 QBs. Absolutely. When he said it, I said, okay, there's 4
Chris
going
Sims
in
likes Mac Jones.
Does he?
Yep. That's what I heard.
Geez.
I thought I heard he was saying this stuff about Mac Jones.
Top 10 QBs. Well, I might have to change my tune on Mac. No, I'm just kidding. I don't think I would take Mac Jones in the top 10. That's just me. But
I wouldn't take it. I'm still on Kellen. I still like the second round spot. I really like Kellen Mond.
What were we talking about?
I don't know. Barry Baller says Zach Wilson is a swag baller. Dude has confidence. He really does. I like that.
Baller. He does have a ton of confidence.
He really does. Yeah.
What were we talking about with Justin Fields and
Oh, you were talking about Trey Lance, about how everyone says he fits.
Oh yeah, I tweeted it. I was like, if they take Trey Lance over Justin Fields solely because they've seen him under center and run a few translatable concepts out of play,
that's the same mistake.
Because Justin Fields is just a better player than Trey Lance, and if Justin Fields can't execute those play action concepts that Trey Lance can, well then throw him out of your offense because he's just a better football player than Trey Lance.
Teach him. It's teachable. It's freaking teachable. No, I agree with you on that. I do. And like, just showing him in a type of offense, when you're just scouting the coach, then the scheme, that has nothing to do with it.
You're scouting the offense, not the player.
Yes. So I'm with you there. I just think it's so interesting that Zach Wilson, Mac Jones, Justin Fields, they're right all around each other. And Mac Jones and Justin Fields couldn't be any more different. Mac Jones is not an athlete. He's not an athlete. He doesn't even look like he lifts weights, but he
Yeah.
actually has the mental side of the game down. Maybe it's because he's got a great offensive line, but so does Justin Fields. You know, you got to give Mac Jones his credit.
Yeah. So I like Mac Jones. I think I like him more than Trey Lance from what
Me
I've
too.
seen so far,
Me
but
too.
I don't think, to me, there's a gap for me. It's Lawrence, Fields, Wilson, and then there's a gap, and then there's Mac Jones, Trey Lance, and the rest of them.
Well, you're betting
I
on
like
those
Justin
traits,
Fields way
and I
more.
feel
Yeah.
you're betting on those traits and that upside, and that's fair. That's fair. If I felt comfortable that Zach Wilson could execute an offense, and it was just, you know, he could do whatever he wanted at BYU. Like he's up for the challenge, and so is Justin Fields. Well, then great. I have no questions.